The Duffer Brothers have been dropping hints about Will Byers being gay since season 1, but he'll finally come out to Mike in season 5. Season 4 of Stranger Things wasn't just mind-numbing but also full of heartbreaks as we lost Eddie and Max almost on the verge of losing her life. But amid all this chaos, the storyline of Will being gay and his struggle to come out is kinda overshadowed. We saw his struggle pretty clearly when he was talking to Mike in the car scene, and he ended up crying and couldn't tell him anything.
When you're different, sometimes you feel like a mistake.
This scene was so relatable for everyone who has come out to a loved one, because the tears in Will's eyes said it all. Unfortunately, Mike just didn't get it, and that's heartbreaking. The fans were quick to point out that Mike has been way too clueless since the very beginning, and that Will has been in love with him for quite a while now. Mike's carelessness is frustrating, to a point when a lot of fans feel like Will might turn evil all because of Mike. The Duffer Brothers have also been dropping multiple hints of Will being gay, and this storyline is going to play a key role in the 5th season. For instance, in the beginning of season 4, we have this scene where Will seems disgusted when a girl tries to flirt with him. It's these subtle but very meaningful hints that tell us about Will being gay. And now that Noah Schnapp, the actor playing Will, has also confirmed it, these hints seem pretty solid. In fact, Noah himself has recently come out as gay on TikTok.
You know what it never was? That serious. It was never that serious. Quite frankly, will never be that serious.
And if Stranger Things 5 shows the coming out story of Will Byers, it will just be perfect. And Noah will be able to resonate with his character a lot more. Besides, the creators have really tried hard to set the tone for a much bigger storyline of Will in the 5th season. And that's why in most scenes we see Will feeling like he doesn't belong anywhere. Although he has a lot of friends, he still feels insecure and often ends up being heartbroken. He doesn't feel like his friends understand him just because he's different, or rather sensitive, and that could turn out to be his biggest weakness in the 5th season. People are worried that if Mike doesn't support Will and continues to ignore him, even as a friend, Vecna is surely going to take advantage of the situation. And by this point, we already know that Vecna also grew up as a lonely child, so that could be something that Will might resonate with, and as he doesn't feel accepted with his own friends, he might find a sense of companionship with Vecna. And with Vecna being so close to Will, the story of season 5 is going to surround Will and the original group, and we're most likely to see a lot more of him. In fact, he's not going to be limited to just a third wheel like in the 4th season. So this will also give us a chance to actually get to know the person that Will has become, and who he really wants to be. After 2 seasons of Will not doing much on the show, we're definitely going to see him being the center of all the attention like in the 1st season. And the original group will be back together to save Will Byers for one last time. In the last season, we even saw Will suffering quite a lot when constantly seeing Mike and Elle together, and being left alone by his best friend must have had an impact on him.
You're good. You got this.
Okay.
Which we'll get to see in the upcoming season, while Vecna will try to exploit his situation. It's actually interesting that Will spent so many days in the Upside Down and still managed to get out alive, while the rest of the group had to fight for their life just to survive for 10 minutes. This fact even invites a crazy theory that says Will is somehow related to Vecna, or he is Vecna. But what we do know is that Will is the one who knows Vecna more than anyone, and this could also mean that Will is more likely to save Elle, Max, and the rest of the group from Vecna's curse. Aside from this, some fan theories were quite crazy, saying things like Elle and Will are going to end up together and Mike is in love with Elle. However, David Harbour, playing Jim Hopper on the show, addressed it and pretty much confirmed that there's been nothing between Will and Elle.
You should know that Will is not interested in Elle. He's interested in someone else in the group.
Yeah, and you'll see soon that he's interested in.
He's very interested.
Yeah.
It's also been said for quite a while now that Will is yet to come out to Mike, but a theory suggests that Mike already knows about Will being gay. That's mainly because of this scene.
It's not my fault you don't like girls.
So, there's a possibility that Mike might already know about Will being gay. Also, Will being silent in this scene tells us a lot about how he feels. In another scene, Will is trying to express his feelings to Mike, and it feels like he's about to come out of the closet, but for some reason he doesn't.
Sometimes I think it's just scary to open up like that, to say how you really feel, especially to people you care about the most.
This scene also suggests that although that Mike has had some idea about Will being gay, he's still afraid of coming out to him. He feels like he won't be accepted the same way, and he might even lose his closest friends, so he tries to fight it off. Noah Schnapp has also talked about Will's dating life, saying,
And Will's dating life, I mean,
it's always been pretty dry. So you wonder like what that is and what he's searching for. So I mean, I guess it's up to interpretation in this season to see what he wants.
Even by the end of the 4th season, we didn't get to see Will actually talking about him being gay or telling Mike that he loves him, and this makes things very ambiguous. Besides, Noah recently gave us a very interesting answer to a friend who asked him if Will's love for a certain friend of his was pre-planned. Noah said,
I don't write it, so I don't know, honestly. But I mean, I think, because there's, like, you definitely see it already from the start in season 1 with, like, the names they're calling Will and stuff, so I don't think it just came to be. It was definitely like they're very smart, the Duffers, so they outline everything from the beginning. They already know how season 5 is going to end, and they plan it all out. So they definitely know where they want to go with Will, and I think it's always been pretty planned out.
So it's pretty much confirmed by now that Will is very much in love with Mike, and the Duffer brothers would never have built it up for so many seasons if this storyline had nothing to do with the final season. A popular fan theory says that Will is going to come out to Mike in the beginning of the 5th season, but Mike, being reunited with Elle, won't pay any attention to Will yet again. This will make Will emotionally vulnerable and more likely to be a victim of Vecna. In the beginning, Mike and Will were the closest from the whole group, and even when Will started having chaotic visions in season 2, Mike was the first person who checked up on him.
Maybe that's good. Good. Just think about it, Will. You're like a spy now. A super spy. Spying on the Shadow Monster.
So it wouldn't be wrong to say that we might be able to see Will and Mike being their previous selves yet again. But Will coming out to Mike could make things a little awkward in the beginning, only if Mike doesn't know it by now. Besides, a lot of fans are also pointing out the fact that Mike is the only person who can save Will from Vecna if he ever tries to use Will as a pawn, because Will has a very strong connection with Vecna.
Now that I'm here in Hawkins, I can feel him.
So it's pretty obvious that Will is going to go through so much emotionally and physically in the last season. And a lot of fans think that he might not even survive by the end because Vecna will end his life. But that's just a theory. And even if Will survives, it's very unlikely that he's going to end up with Mike because he has his own path to walk on. And Mike is very much in love with Elle, and Will is definitely going to respect that. One theory also suggests that Will is going to put his own life in danger in season 5 after confessing his love for Mike. And that has to be the most conclusive but heartbreaking ending of the show. He'll most likely sacrifice himself to save Elle from Vecna, and Mike will realize what Will can do for his happiness and how bad of a friend he has been to Will after getting together with Elle. Or, one theory also says that this could go completely the opposite way, and Elle could lose her life while trying to save the group. It would obviously be traumatic for Mike, but some fans think that he'll eventually move on and get together with Will. We gotta say that Elle losing her life isn't entirely surprising, because she's had a lot of people after her, so she might have to sacrifice herself to save her friends. Or she could be taken by the army. We're still not clear about Elle's fate, but one thing is pretty obvious, and that's Will sharing his true feelings with Mike, and then Mike making a decision. However, Millie Bobby Brown, playing Elle on the show, said,
They love each other so much, and they've gone through hell and back to be with one another, and I think that's what they hold, is that loyalty to one another, and I think that's what you'll see this season.
So Will and Mike might not be destined to be together, but Will is surely going to accept himself in the 5th season and come out not just to Mike but to his family as well. In fact, we even saw Jonathan, Will's brother, consoling him after seeing him as a third wheel. It actually feels like everyone knows about Will being gay to some extent and even feels sad for him. But we're yet to see how the Duffer brothers have planned it all out, because they surely have dragged the coming out of Will for 4 seasons, and now it has to be iconic. So what are your thoughts? Do you see Will Byers coming out in the 5th season? Tell us in the comments, and thanks for watching.